Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox, that's Ben Olson. Together we're the founders of LSATdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. This is an email from Jordan. You want to take it?
Yep. I'm getting my application together, says Jordan. I have a lengthy criminal record, though. They are all drug charges and nothing violent. I have one misdemeanor conviction, and I was charged with two felonies that were reduced to misdemeanors. My most recent run in with the law was 4 years ago, 5 years by the time my application is done. What are my chances of getting into Vanderbilt Law or any top law school? I have a 3.76 GPA, and I'm assuming I will have an LSAT score within their median range when I test in June. Does my criminal record hurt my chances of a top law school more than it does with regional schools? How should I address these issues in my application? Thank you. Well, a lot is going to depend, I think, on Jordan's LSAT score. Right? The biggest drivers in any applicant's application is their GPA and their LSAT score. When it comes to these things, I would imagine that how law schools deal with misdemeanors and a criminal record, period, is going to depend on the crimes involved, how long ago they took place. I don't know the answers to those questions, but the only thing you can do is the same thing that everyone else does, and that is apply broadly and see what happens. As for addressing these issues, I would answer them truthfully, but provide no more information than what's required.
Yeah, and I think step one is to call the Tennessee Bar Association. I mean, assuming, Vanderbilt, I'm guessing you're not going
Yep.
there from some other state besides Tennessee, because why would you?
Sure.
By the way, what is this like? Referring to Vanderbilt as some like top law school, and then, in contrast with regional schools, I would have put Vanderbilt in the regional law school category, wouldn't you?
Wait, what is Vanderbilt ranked?
I don't know, but if you started naming top law schools, it would take you a while to get to Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
I
have.
guess I've thought of Vanderbilt as a high ranking school. I don't know. In my mind, it's like UVA, Vanderbilt. I would, Georgetown, I would consider those highly ranked or have a more national influence. But
Well, I'm going to lsatdemon.com/scholarships because that's the best place to look for law school rankings these days.
sure.
You can put in an LSAT and a GPA there, and it'll calculate your chances. What did Jordan say about GPA? I know Jordan said
3.76.
3.76. Okay, so that's below Vanderbilt's 50th percentile, and what said at their 50th percentile for LSAT? So that's
Median, yeah.
169. Okay, so I'm going to put in a 169. And what did you say? 3.76?
3.76.
Okay. Yeah, Vanderbilt. Okay, I mean, it's 17th on our list. I don't know where we draw the line between national law schools and regional law schools. It's just
Sure.
not a binary thing.
It's fading, right? Like Vanderbilt has less of a national reach than, say, UVA or NYU, but yeah.
I don't think this is the school that Jordan wants to go to. I mean, not with those numbers. Unless you're made of money, Jordan, you're going to get less than half scholarship probably with those numbers at Vanderbilt.
Yep.
If you get in, I mean, if we get over your criminal record,
Yeah.
if you get in, they're going to charge you a lot of money to go there. So I would be, looking a little farther down. You can get a full tuition to Alabama. You can get more than full tuition to Iowa, Wisconsin, George Mason, Wake Forest, like tons of schools that are ranked in the 30s and 40s that'll give you not only a scholarship, but more than full scholarship with
Yeah.
those numbers.
Yeah.
And our mission is to keep you from paying for law school because it is a just enormous waste of money. I say it's a waste of money because you just don't have to pay, right? I mean, other
Yeah.
people are going
Yeah.
for free, so
Yeah.
why would you not go for free to law school?
Yeah, if the gas station next door is charging twice as much, why would you drive over there when you could just drive to the other one and
It's
pay
more
the
like
regular price?
free gas.
Yeah, free
I mean,
gas, and
one
then you have
gas station
gas
says free gas, the other one says $9 a gallon.
yeah,
Like, which one do you want?
yeah. Oh, and then they offer a discount, so now it's $7 a gallon. Don't be fooled, right? You can still go for free.
Yeah, yeah. And let's see, does Vanderbilt offer a lot of those scammerships? Yeah, they do. They offer 45% of their class a scammership of less than half tuition.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then meanwhile they're giving 37% of their class half to full, and 3% of their class is getting more than full.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful. They're not even close to one of the worst offenders for scammerships, but they are definitely out there playing the game.
If you're
As far
wondering what Nathan means by scammership, he just means scholarship with a slightly more
well,
accurate.
we used to not say scholarships, right? For a while,
Yeah.
we were like insisting that we would only call them a discount.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's a discount. It's not
Yeah.
anything like for you can definitely get free, which at that
Yeah.
point, that's actually a scholarship, right? If you're going
Yeah.
for zero.
Yeah.
But if they gave you half off, and it's a resident tuition of $64,000 a year.
Yep.
So half off means they're still charging you $32,000 a year, which is
Yep.
overpriced. If that was the price, it would be like way overpriced. I mean, that's just insane to think that education actually costs that much. You're going to be sitting in a giant lecture hall with 100 other
Yep.
students.
There's absolutely no labs,
No, there's
no
no,
lab equipment.
right. There's no like science going on campus. It's like just a bunch of suits coming
Yep.
to like talk. Anyway, I'm not like here to shit on Vanderbilt. They're fine. They're just like every other law school, similarly ranked. The criminal record thing Jordan needs to take seriously. Like I don't think we're experts on this issue. No, I don't know. I mean, we don't get many convicted offenders applying to
Yeah.
law school. It's just not a
Yeah.
super common route. That's not to say that you can't do it. But yeah, I mean, phone call number one, you call the Tennessee bar, you fully disclose everything that's in your record, and you say, do people like me still go to law school and get admitted to the Tennessee bar?
Sure.
Because there could be some rule in Tennessee that's like, no, sorry, your ship has sailed. You have been convicted of multiple crimes. You're not going to be a lawyer in this state.
Yeah. And then you could call other states that you're willing to live in. But if you keep hearing no, at some point you
Yeah.
may want to.
I would call Vanderbilt as well. I mean, like, what's the point of trying to hide this? They're gonna ask you these questions on your application. And the reason why they're asking you these questions on your application is that they're going to ask you those questions again 3 years from now on your character and fitness for the state bar. And
Yeah.
that interview or that like investigation is going to be even more serious because when they do the state bar, like could totally actually call your references and contacts and, before they admit you to take people's lives in your hands as a practicing attorney in their state.
Yeah.
They're gonna like get pretty serious about looking at your record.
Yeah.
And so I don't think you should be shy about calling Vanderbilt and just disclosing way before you've even applied. I don't think you need to worry that they're gonna like remember you and hold it against you. They don't. That's not the game
Yeah.
we're playing. Call them and ask them. Like, just tell them, hey, 5 years ago I have this criminal record. Like, I would actually even say, can I speak to successful law students at Vanderbilt who have a similar story? What, Vanderbilt has 154 people in their first year class. So looking at, 400 people in the school probably,
Yeah.
plus all of their years and years of graduates. I would think that they should be able to connect you to somebody who has some kind of a similar story.
Unless they don't accept people with that background, and then they say no, there's no one we can connect you with, and that's a good sign.
Yeah,
too,
unless
but-
it's like impossible to practice
bad
law
sign, I
in the
guess.
state of
Yeah.
Tennessee. So yeah, okay. I guess that's my final word on it is you got to make some phone calls. And as Ben said, when you're doing the application itself, I think you want to make sure that you don't over disclose.
Mm-hmm.
But you also don't want to be lying at all.
Nope.
You have to be answering honestly.
I would answer honestly and concisely. So they ask you a question, you answer that question honestly, you provide what they asked for and nothing more, and then you're done. You're like a robot. It's like, that's what I did. There's nothing that you won't run into problems if you do that.
Yeah. Does my criminal record hurt my chances of a top law school more than it does with regional schools?
I would say so, merely from the
Yeah,
fact that anything that's
of
negative
course.
is going to be less damaging in a regional school, which is more desperate.
Of course it does. Yeah, the regional school is going to look at your, 3.76 and be like, "Oh shit, we don't get very many people with a 3.76." Vanderbilt, meanwhile, is like, "Oh, you're below our 50th percentile."
Yep. So
Like why would they want to go out of their way to admit somebody who has a GPA below their 50th percentile unless you show them an LSAT that's way up there? But Jordan seems to be suggesting that they're not. That just doesn't seem like somebody who should apply to Vanderbilt in my book.
well, a lot of this depends on how Jordan does on the LSAT, right? So
Yeah, I'm taking Jordan at their word to
yeah,
say
yeah.
in their median range. I mean, that's like, that isn't someone that I would ever advise apply to this school.
Any school that you're in the median range, you're
Yeah.
probably not going to get a great scholarship, and therefore you need to be applying elsewhere.
You're going to just be wildly overcharged by that
Yeah.
by that school. I mean, like if we bump it up, let's see what happens at what's 5 more LSAT points.
Okay.
Vanderbilt turns from red, less than half, to blue, more than full.
Yeah, it's the highest ranked school, more than full.
That's with 5 more LSAT points, Jordan. I mean, I know you didn't write for this exact advice, but I'm telling you that 5 LSAT points in that situation, it's putting the criminal record aside, assuming that that's going to be a non-issue here, which I don't know is true, but if it is, the 5 more LSAT points there is going to get you. Yeah, I mean, Ben? Do you think that where are we getting this data? Because the 509 report says resident tuition 64,000, but then the estimator is saying 33,000 plus is a more than full tuition scholarship at Vanderbilt.
So I know that the estimator was moved to be all based on semester costs.
Oh, this is semester, not year.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay. Okay. So then that makes perfect sense. So, but I mean,
Pretty
man,
sure. I thought. Okay. Actually, that's the thing. We need to clarify that with Brittany. But
We do.
it was switched because the problem was the data was all mixed up, right? Some schools had it
Right.
by year, some had it by scholarship
Well,
or by semester. So then we had to decide.
That's
And
not our fault. That's on the 509s. I mean,
That's
the
the 509,
509s
yeah,
have mixed up per semester and per annual information frequently. And now I'm actually noticing now how different all of these 509s are, right? Because some of
Yeah.
them have GREs now and some of them don't. And
Yep.
some of them report per annual and some report per semester tuition and some per credit tuition. And it's just all a mess. I don't know why they don't make this data uniform. It's supposed to be consumer protection, right? That law schools have to report
Yeah.
this stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then they're like allowed to report it in all these different confusing ways, which is, I don't know, part of the scam, I guess.
Yeah, it's really interesting because like Vanderbilt has per annual and then per credit,
But then it doesn't have any data in the per credit
no,
section.
it's all zeros.
These things are a mess. Like, hey, American Bar Association, are you listening? Like, are you paying any attention to what's going on with these? You're supposed to be the watchdog, I thought.
Yeah, you should be rejecting these 509 reports
Yeah.
if they don't have the information.
Put
entered
Ben and I in
correctly.
charge. We'll get these reports and we'll be like, no, fuck you. Go back and redo it. Give us a better report. We want to see what's actually going on at your class.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be anybody actually watching or it's the fox guarding the
It's
hen
weird
house.
though, because
I don't
U.S.
know.
News and World Report would be very interested in having accurate data. So I wonder what they
Well,
do.
they're
to-
interested in is selling shit though, right? I mean, they want to put out the rankings and have a bunch of news stories about their rankings and sell a bunch of subscriptions to their ranking products. They don't give a shit about the actual students. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh,
I'm
let
pretty
me
sure these are
finish.
per semester, though. Sorry, just to clarify.
Yeah.
Looking at a few
Okay.
of these.
That's, by the way, lsatdemon.com/scholarships. You can put in a GPA and an LSAT and you can do a calculation. And we've gotten nothing but good feedback that actual offers have been very closely in line with what this estimator tool has been spitting out.
Yeah.
So it's not a calculator. It's not like you can, take this to the bank or anything. But you can be pretty sure that if you apply to a broad range of schools, you're going to get a broad range of offers that look like the results that this estimator is spitting out. If that weren't true, we would get rid of the estimator because we're not bullshitting you. Like, we're not just selling stuff. But let me finish my point,
Sure.
which was
Yep.
this. Jordan's talking about applying with something at their median, which results in less than full tuition scholarship. With 5 more LSAT points, that changes to more than full tuition scholarship.
Yep.
5 LSAT points, saving Jordan at least 50% on a 3-year law degree,
Yeah.
which at Vanderbilt costs $64,000 a year. So a year and a half of $64,000 a year. Let's just round it up to $100,000. How about that?
Yeah, I mean it's 90 to 100, right? But that's not even taking into account interest and all the other stuff you're gonna have to pay on top of it. So rounding to 100 is actually generous.
Yeah. So I guess that's my real message here for Jordan and for all of our listeners is if you're serious about this path as a career, why don't you get yourself 5 more LSAT points and save yourself $100,000? I mean, for a long time, I've been saying that 1 LSAT point is worth $10,000.
Yeah.
But this is an example where 1 LSAT point is worth $20,000.
Yep.
1 LSAT point, Jordan, $20,000. Like, I don't care how rich your family is. Oh, well, I mean, I guess there's, you could be like billionaires, in which case you now no longer give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
your family might have generously offered to pay for your law school education, but you still might be able to come back to them and go, you know what, Mom, Dad, thank you very much, but I'm gonna work on my LSAT a little bit more, and I'm gonna go to this school for free.
Yep.
I'll save you. Thank you, Mom and Dad, but I'm gonna save you $100,000 by getting 5 more LSAT points.
Yep.
Okay. Anything
It's hard,
more?
it's hard to imagine a situation where that's not beneficial. It's very, very small percentage of the world but wouldn't care about that savings.
Like literally, 100 millionaires, those types of folks. When it's just like when they're tacking on zeros, then okay, fine. But for any normal people, like your mom and dad are like normal, successful people. $100,000 is like a significant chunk of money.
Yep.
And they just give it they like just hand it out like candy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be clear, Vanderbilt gives half to full tuition scholarships to 37% of their class. And another 3% get more than full tuition scholarships. So 40% of the class at Vanderbilt is paying less than half price to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And if the tuition was $6,000, it wouldn't be a big deal, but it's $64,000.
It's unbelievable.
Plus another couple grand in fees, and that's not counting books or living expenses.
Yep.
This is an enormously expensive luxury product for people who pay for it.
Yep.
And that's really what I want you to do, Jordan, is if you're going to go, I do not want you paying these people.
You know what we should actually be focusing on when we look at these 509 reports? And in many ways you are, but what's the percentage of people paying full for Vanderbilt, say?
Yeah, so 15%.
That is criminal.
It should
Right?
be. It sure seems like it should be. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't want to be out there yelling about like you guys are a bunch of crooks and you should be literally prosecuted for fraud or whatever.
But how do you feel about
it,
admitting someone and then saying, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
What you owe is $64,000 a year.
I know.
And you are in the minority here. And I'm not going to blink an eye. I'm not going to feel bad about sending you that bill.
Well, if we got eight, again, it's like, hey, American Bar Association, are you listening? Because yeah, we like imagine Ben if we were allowed to make the template for the 509 report.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. That'd be so great. Because right at the top, we could just have one number, and
Yeah.
that number would be the percentage of the class that pays full price. And for Vanderbilt, it would be 15%.
Yeah.
15. Welcome to this prestigious school where 15% of our students pay full price.
They're fully admitting that the full price is not the actual price.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
if
I mean,
you're
they're
only
not
charging that to 15% of your class. There's no way you can run a business if that's what you need to run the school.
Yeah, and that's where I would just love to hear what the bar association has to say about it. The state bar. I want to know what the Tennessee State Bar has to say about that. I want to know what the American Bar Association has to say about that. All these people who never stop talking about justice and access and diversity and all this shit. Like, how do you feel about the fact that only 15% of the people at this school pay the price that they say it costs? It just it feels so dirty. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a Costco shopper, right? You go to Costco, there aren't any, it's not like coupons and deals and don't buy your TV today because tomorrow it'll be on sale.
Oh, yeah.
There's none of that type of bullshit. You go into Costco, you're going to get a good product at a fair price. Tomorrow it might be a little bit cheaper, but it's not going to be like half as much because tomorrow is their white sale or whatever, where they, like slash all the prices. And also it's not like, oh, did you bring in the coupon? Oh, you didn't bring in the coupon. Oh, we're going to charge you more. That's the whole like,
oh yeah.
I hate, that's so dirty to me.
You didn't hear about the coupon? Well,
Or cars, right? Like that's why I buy all my cars at CarMax. Cause I just like, I love CarMax because there's one price. And I don't have to negotiate and I don't have to like feel like somebody else is getting the same car for cheaper or whatever. It's just like CarMax has one price and that's it. Take it or leave it. And you're getting like an okay deal.
Yeah.
With these law schools, if you're paying anything close to full tuition, you're getting a terrible deal.
Well, so we just talked about Vanderbilt. I was curious and I just randomly clicked on another 509 report, this time for USC, so University of Southern California.
Yeah.
Any guess what the percentage of students who are paying full prices?
15%.
3.
What?
3%. So 29% are getting less than half, but 67% are getting half to full. Wow. Only 1% is getting full and only 1% is getting more than full. So most people are falling in that half to full tuition range. But again, it's just blatantly obvious that the full price is not an actual thing, except for those 3%, right? Those 3%. Oof. I hope you're not at USC right now and hearing this and paying full.
Can you imagine? You imagine sitting there, like if you squeak in, to USC.
Yeah.
Good luck. You're there. You're 3 out of 100 who are paying full price. 97% are getting the exact same product as you are, except for cheaper.
And so you're paying more, and you're gonna get less benefit from the school because you're doing worse. You can't maybe go to on-campus interviews. Because no one
so you're not getting the
in
same product for a worse price. You're getting a worse product for a worse price. Like, you're going to graduate with all this debt. You're not going to do as well on average. You're just not going to do as well in the academic competition. You're probably, you're not going to get the plum on campus. I mean, okay, there's always exceptions, right? Like, oh, yeah, sure, yeah, somebody squeaked in and ended up being the valedictorian. Yeah. That's a thing sometimes. Most of the time it's not. Yep. We're not all exceptional like that. So most of the time, no, you're gonna struggle to get good grades because you're competing against people who have better undergraduate grades than you do and better LSATs than you do. Yep. That's why they got scholarships and you didn't.
Yep.
And then Morrison Forster is going to come to campus and it's going to be like, oh, we're doing on-campus interviewing. Anybody who has top
15% of class.
25% grades or top
Yeah.
15% grades can come interview with Mofo, and you're going to be there like, what? I went to USC because I wanted the on-campus interview.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, you chose poorly. I mean,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that was a lengthy response, total non sequitur response to Jordan's question. Thank you, Jordan, for emailing in.
Yep.
Anybody, if you would like to participate in this conversation, I would love for it to be an actual conversation. And all you got to do is email daily@lsatdemon.com. It's been kind of slow in the inboxes for both Thinking LSAT and for LSAT Demon. So this is a really good time to get your question on the air if you're interested.
Yeah.
daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or contribute to this conversation about Vanderbilt, or let us know if people who are convicted of multiple crimes, charged with felonies, are allowed to practice law in the state of Tennessee.
Or anywhere.
Yeah, we'd love to know all that stuff. So yeah, email us. Thanks for listening.